So, kind of, as AndroidVirus Sean show loves to do, you love to take left turns, right, Sean?
We certainly do.
And as Will's going to stay on with us, and I'm glad Will's staying on with us. I don't think anything is by chance or ironic or coincidence. I think Will is here for a reason for this next thing that we're going to do. And the reason why I say that is Will comes from a long line of heathen, dirt-worshipping cannibals, right? Right, Will?
Yes, I am a long line of pagan, godless, fucking primitive, stereotype Native Americans. Yes.
Okay, cool. That's awesome.
If you need a picture of that, basically, if you need to go rent the movie, The Gods Must Be Crazy, and see what they do for a Coke bottle that falls out of an airplane jetliner at the beginning of the thing. They treat it like that. That's pretty much Will's heritage right there. But moving on.
We talked about this. That was the wrong movie. We said Dances with Wolves. My character is Stephen Costner.
There you go. So, basically, we had been wanting to talk about this, and we just had some crazy shit thrown our way. It just seems like every other week we seem to be dealing with the death of somebody. But I had brought this story up to Sean some time ago, and there had been some new studies coming out. And everybody is aware out there of who the Rockefellers are, right? The Rockefeller family, huge family. Some people even say the Rockefellers own the world. But I don't know if anybody knows, Michael C. Rockefeller, the 23-year-old son of New York Governor Nelson Rockefeller and future vice president, decided to swim basically he wanted to swim to be some 5 to 10 miles to shore in some remote corner of the world. Like he was on a boat and he decided he wanted to swim.
Long time ago, by the way.
Yeah, well, let's see, we're 1961, right?
61.
So
yeah.
So he was off the coast of southwest New Guinea, and this was back in like November of '61. He liked expeditions. The guy had money, right? So he's doing this, and you got to think Rockefeller family. Well, if anybody doesn't know or know the story of what happened to him, basically he was in New Guinea and he decided to swim to kind of some remote island, 10 miles inland, and decided to hang out with some tribes. And his buddy told him, I really don't think you should go. But he went. He says, I'll be okay. I think I can make it. With that, he was in the water with 2 empty gasoline cans tied to his military belt. And so he went, right?
Right.
And basically, it would be the last time that Michael Rockefeller would ever be seen. With all the money and high-profile family and extensive sea, air, and land search turned up nothing. The mystery surrounding his disappearance left the Rockefellers and the world perplexed. They assumed he drowned. However, they were wrong. Turned out, he was tortured. He was eaten.
Oh.
He was beheaded in a ritualistic cannibal killing by a notoriously violent New Guinea tribe. So it took decades and extensive searches and to find out what actually happened. And basically, didn't they find the tribe, Sean, that this happened to?
Well, what happened, because his death was so mysterious, they did rule his death 3 years after the fact of drowning when it initially happened, simply because they're like, look, we don't know what happened. We can't find any. We found the cans, and to kind of clear up what was going on, the reason why he was swimming is, he was one of these guys that he was almost like one of those early humanitarian type guys. He'd go out, but his boat got stalled. So he was looking for help.
Yeah.
And the reason why he was killed, and this is what they turned up, is basically before he even arrived, there was this, the Dutch had taken over the little area that they happened to be in. And the man who oversaw the colony, Max, I don't even know how to pronounce his name, Lapre, I don't know. Anyway, they ordered like five of these Asmats to be gunned down. You know, basic, you guys are backwards people. We're just gonna, you know, we'll take our big guns and just wipe out the area. No big deal. No harm, no foul. We're just doing what we're doing. So when Rockefeller showed up there, they see that this guy, you know, they recognized him a little bit, but they took him as being part of these other guys. And these tribesmen decided, well, we're going to go ahead and get our revenge on him, whether he likes it or not. I can't imagine him liking it. But, you know, it took a lot of investigation. Through the 60s, they needed to find out what happened, and it's all in a new book, man. That turned up all this crazy investigation. They talked to some of the tribes there. There were a lot of rumors. A lot of people said they didn't know about it, but it's all in this book, man, called Savage Harvest, and it's just a crazy thing, like the stuff that they did in the name of ritual. Not just because with this tribe, it was kind of like, we're not just killing him, we're taking his entire essence. So we need to consume everything, including every portion of his brain, you know, use his blood. You know, the kind of stuff that your family does every Tuesday, Will. That type of stuff needed to be done to poor Michael Rockefeller and his and his entire remains, and details are now coming out. It's a crazy story.
Yeah, so let's get to like
you got away. Just because you got away doesn't mean that's true. I mean, this is a book. This is a book, and
yes,
using my history studies, and I did study forensic science. A lot of the information that can become from something like this would be the body, which was never found at all.
Right.
So still pretty much a story. Now, I'm looking at it, I'm not seeing it as fiction or anything like that. I don't see what it's labeled as, but it is a story written by someone who is still making money off the book. Now, whether or not it's true, and you're talking about cannibal tribes, stories told throughout the years from 61, and then I think 64 they declared him dead to 2014, which stories are, as discussed on your last show, we did, stories can be a way to prevent us from, or as children, to go out there and do stupid stuff.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right.
Let's get into the description of what happened. These natives, it's written that these natives were muscular and strong, black-skinned with pierced septums the size of dimes. They wasted no time and paddled quickly out to the swimming man, as he was, Michael Rockefeller, surrounding him, towing him into shore. The head of one of the five men's houses, because they, like you said, they had these houses, who had killed more people than any of the tribesmen and collected more heads. He was a fearless man, they said. He howled and arched his back and drove his spear into Rockefeller's ribs. They said he screamed and inhuman sound. This is what the guy's writing. They had done this dozens of times, following sacred rules that defined their lives and spirituality that made them men. They're about to take his power, become him, and restore balance to the world because all this bullshit happened to them. So basically, they were fighting over his head, right, Sean?
Yeah.
They turned him over, thrust into his throat a bamboo knife, then pressed the head back until the vertebrae cracked. Rockefeller was now sacred meat. The cut was deep, from the anus to his neck, down the side of his trunk to his armpit, across the collarbone to the throat, and down one other side. And this is an ancestral way that they did. This is an ancestral way to butcher a man.
Well, that's a Friday night for us, not a Tuesday.
Yeah. So
we got only the freshest millionaire heirs down here at Boom Jobs Fresh, tribal meat market. We got fresh cuts right down to the anus.
So his ribs were broken with an axe. His sternum was ripped out. His arms and legs were cut off. His entrails pulled out. And all while the men were chanting, and it was a sacred violence. Michael's head, his head was scalped. It was cooked and cut across the face from the root of the nose to the nape of his neck, with a small hole 2 inches in diameter to cut the skull. And then it says they shook the brains out into a leaf palm, scraped the inside of the skull with a knife to get every last bite out.
Well, I mean, come on.
Yeah, they roasted his brain. Look, they roasted his brain in a goddamn banana leaf like we eat tamales over a fire.
Well, look, let me say this first. Who hasn't gone to a barbecue where you haven't had music or something playing on in the background and maybe people are singing and having fun? This is just like a regular cookout with these guys. It's like a fucking tailgate party. They just happen to have a millionaire heir to all kinds of power and wealth right on the spigot. You never know. And, whenever I'm cooking things, Will, you're a chef. You don't waste any part of a good piece of meat. Doesn't matter who's on that spigot. You clean that thing out. You save everything you can. Stuff can be fed to the dog or it could be fed to yourself. These guys are just not wasters.
Now to wrap this up,
right?
These guys were called the Osmat. The Osmat tribesmen had sex with each other. They shared they shared wives. They drank each other's urine and gave the chief oral sex, so the chief got a BJ from everybody.
That's just called
Saturday night.
That's a good host. Yes, exactly.
That's a Saturday night. And then they spread Michael's blood all over their bodies, and they were coated in Michael Rockefeller. Does Michael Rockefeller live through the Asmat tribe now? Is the question that I want to know.
This is also a community that's infested with sharks and saltwater crocodiles, which is another belief that happened to him.
I would say that a part of Michael Rockefeller lived through them for just a couple of days before he then lived. God, I stumble all over a shit joke. That's great. All right. Way to go, diarrhea. Yeah, who knows? Do you think anybody ate a bad piece of Michael Rockefeller and had like some of those explosive guts? They're just like, woke up the next day and was just constantly having to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, it's kind of like when I've gone down to Mexico and drank the water and ate the ice, got Montezuma's revenge. I'm not used to it. They weren't used to his fucking rich food. I bet, dude. But I mean, there's no.
Get a lot of grief.
I can't work the farms today. I'm sorry. I can't. I got explosive BGs. That Michael Rockefeller was just ugh. It must have been something I ate. I know I ate some of his like toenails and stuff. Ugh. I've got to call in. How many sick days I got left?
Yeah. The Asmat tribe had a sickness called the Rockefeller runs, right?
Yes.
The Rockefeller runs. Get the fuck out of here, this guy. So we've been wanting to bring up this story. So which I think everybody out now immediately, especially you, Sean, and I guess I missed the part on who documented this, and they asked for dark meat. That's what Heather Wren wants to know. And then they asked for dark meat. So, no, Heather, I think that was all white meat. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, but
look, I would really like to have some of this. I know you guys have prepared it well, but I've been going vegan as of late. So, I mean, if you've got, like, something of his that isn't, like, flesh-related, or I can't even eat anything that was cooked in his blood. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to stick over here with a salad and everything. I've been watching my weight, So you guys have fun with that Michael Rockefeller, and I'm going to, have your little things and everything. I'll join in the fun. I'll be there for the sex, but, No, I want no part of this. Oh.
They ate the... This is why you don't fuck around in indigenous countries. This is why you do not leave... Look, you do not... I understand the United States. Fine, we all live in the United States. I can go to Texas. I can go to Arizona, whatever, right? I'm cool with that. I have no desire to fucking go do a humanitarian mission in Papua New Guinea or the goddamn fucking Amazon for that fact. Look, I wasn't born there, so I don't need to be down there. I'm good where I'm at. Look, I go to fucking Corzanati all the time to see my fucking cousin, and I feel weird down there, right? So,
okay, South Valley.
You know, fucking the South Valley makes me feel goddamn weird. You know, who the fuck wants to go to these places?
You're saying you don't want to become a nice pair of Beats headphones for some tribe in Papua New Guinea?
Look, I don't want to become. I don't want my brains to become a goddamn fucking a banana leaf fucking tamale for some malnourished assholes.
A primitive hot pocket. A primitive hot pocket for your enjoyment.
A primitive hot pocket for some assholes that like to suck their fucking king's dick while rubbing blood all over each other. I'm sorry, I'm just not into it.
Hey, now you're going too far. Now you're just being an asshole. They were just being good fucking people to their king.
Isn't that why the hot pockets are on recall right now?
Yeah, exactly. Too much Michael Rockefeller in it.
Jesus Christ. So that's all I got to say about that. It's fucking hell, man. Jesus Christ.
But there's always a good humanitarian effort in Manila, Philippines, Bangkok, and Mexico. There are some girls out there who are going to college that you can pay for to put them through college.
Exactly.
Let's
cue up the Sarah McLachlan music for the sad commercial about how if I just spent 2 cents a day, this bag of rice could feed out an entire family of 476. You know.
Well, those girls will do plenty for you as long as you pay them.
That's true. That's true.
Jesus Christ. So I wanted to get into a little bit of this. I don't know if you heard about this, Will, but there's this mysterious Craigslist ad, and it seeks evidence of a vast alien conspiracy. Now, you know, before we go too deep into this, you know, I don't know if you've heard about lizard people. So you know, they're running the world, but it's a really weird, fascinating thing. That, you know, we've been wanting to talk about, but we're going to go back to the cannibals real quick, Sean. Jeremy wants it. I'm going to go ahead and let you feel this one real quick.
Jeremy, how you doing, sir? You're live on
Pretty
the air.
good. How you doing?
Doing all right. What do you got? What do you got for this about the cannibal stuff?
Well, a couple of things. One of the things I want to touch on what Aaron was just saying is that I actually don't feel bad for any of these people that get killed that end up in these third world shitholes that we have no business being there in the first place, trying to spread Christianity or whatever it is to these people who have been living thousands of years on their own, doing their own thing, beating each other with logs and stuff. We don't need to teach them how to read the Bible, and so if they get killed and eaten, that's kind of their own fault.
It's true. I mean,
and on the other hand,
you got a point.
On the other hand, cannibalism is always something that I've been intrigued with since I was a kid. It may sound weird, but Aaron knows this, and if you follow my Facebook, you know that I'm always talking about meat, and I can't stand like vegetables at all. And I've always said that I would definitely try human meat if I ever could.
Wow. Do you think they sell it at Whole
Foods?
Foods? Like, can you get some at Whole Foods maybe that would be all right to?
Hopefully, it would be one of those vegan, pretentious assholes that they would donate their bodies to eaters to eat them.
You might have to go to a body farm for that.
Here's a question for the ladies out there. All right. And if any ladies listening can call in, if they don't want to, that's cool. Right?
All right.
eating a man's jism considered cannibalism?
Wow. Wow.
I mean, that
is
just a question.
It's a protein.
I'm going to try to text a sex expert.
Oh, really?
I'm just going to see maybe somebody will call in. But any ladies out there wants to call in. We're gonna try to figure this out.
619-924-0762. Ladies, call in if you want to concur with AndroidVirus on that. Is eating jism the same as cannibalism? We want to hear your thoughts.
What do you guys?
Thousands and thousands of little tiny guys that they swallow.
It's true.
But it's also the essence of a human.
If I may weigh in, sir.
Yes.
The definition of meat, which vegetarians do not eat, is the flesh of an animal and disgust.
This is true. I ate a cow today, and I ate some steaks today, and I was thinking, man, this is so good. It was like better than eating a piece of fruit.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
What, Jeremy? So you would try? You're saying you would try human meat just for the fun of it?
Just for the fun of it, and definitely in a survival situation. I've had girlfriends ask me, mostly girlfriends, like, if we are stuck in a situation where I died first, would you eat me? And I'm like, yeah, no problem. They're like, what? I'm like, oh yeah, I would start with your legs and probably your ass first, because years ago, I read, I think it was the Serial Killers A to Z book, and there was this one serial killer that was in Russia, I think he was. He was an Asian dude, and he went around eating women, tons of women. And, he would kill them and eat them because he wanted to become a woman. And the guy is describing what these women tasted like, and it was making me hungry to read this damn thing. He was talking about cutting off their asses, and he would fry them up in a pan, and he said that the fat melted in his mouth like butter. And I was like, oh, man, that sounds good. So I told my girlfriend at the time, I was like, yeah, I would eat your ass first. That's what would happen. It would keep me going.
Are you talking about what's his name? Fish, Albert Fish. I think I read that one.
No. This happened in Europe. It was in Europe that this guy was. He was killing. He was trying to become women, and he killed a lot of college girls, and he ate them because he felt that if he would eat them, like basically the same thing, like their soul would become one with him, and he would become more like a woman or some crap. But he killed a lot of women. It was in that serial killer book, Serial Killers A to Z.
Huh. That's kind of an odd question. Well, I guess we don't have any women calling in other than we got Flesh Eater, and I'll ask him that question.
Yeah.
Well, technically, that's the thing. There are ovo-lactose vegans and there are vegans.
Well, who do we got on the line now? Our good old buddy, Flesh Eater. Speaking of cannibals.
Yes.
I'm the Flesh Man. And you know what? Soylent Green is people.
You bastard. Soylent Green is people. I love it.
So, Fleshy, since we have no...
You bastard. Fuck you.
So, would you consider eating another human being, Fleshy?
Well, depending on the situation. Like, if I was in that movie, if it was like that movie Alive, well, yeah, I would have to definitely consider it. But yeah, I mean, if for example, for example, if there was like a nuclear war and then boom, there's like no one left, and then I see there's no food, there's nothing. And, now I live in the desert, so, there's no water everywhere or food anywhere. And if I just see a human or carcass there, well, yeah, I might have to consider it, for my own survival.
Sure.
So, I mean, depends on the situation. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it depends on the situation. So I want you guys, I have on the line with us calling a beautiful, wonderful, I would like to say, consider friend of the show. We had her on as a guest last week. The wonderful Gen Padova is calling us back right now.
She's back, guys.
Hello, Jen.
Do you guys know who Jen is? Sean's talking to her real quick. All right. Do you know who Jen is, Will? All right. So I'm gonna bring Jen on. So everybody, calm your horses down. Hey Jen, what's up? This is AndroidVirus.
Not much. I'm trying to call my horse.
Oh, you're trying to call your horse?
She's pretty
that means a Navajo, so just so you know.
Oh, Will's a Navajo, and he calls horses different ways. What Will does is he gets his dick hard and he has his horse back up into it.
Yes.
That's how.
So the horse is
there too.
Wait, what did you say, Jen?
So the horse is the one that's backing its ass up.
Yeah, exactly. So we had. Thank you so much for calling us tonight. We had a weird question. If you want to stay on, you can. If you want this to be quick, you can. Me and Sean were talking about a story that we stumbled upon about how one of the Rockefellers' sons in the 60s got eaten by cannibals doing a humanitarian mission. Yeah. And then, as they proceeded to eat him and dissect him and kill him in a ritualistic way, they basically rubbed their blood all over his body, and the tribe had a group sex. They fucked each other. They fucked each other's wives. They all sucked the elder's dick. So it's crazy.
Ooh, kinky.
Right.
What country is this?
Yeah, it's a tribe in New Guinea. Now, this was leading us to the next question because we had Jeremy call in saying that he would try human meat. Okay.
Right.
So, with that being said, I asked everybody, and I needed to ask you this question: would you consider eating another man's, I guess you could say, semen, taking it into yourself? Would that be considered cannibalism, or a form of it?
Okay. Well, I almost have to pull up the dictionary to kind of know the definition of the actual definition of cannibalism. It's just eating another one of your own kind, right?
Right.
Okay. So then I guess it would be maybe a form of, I mean, people who are all about, pro-choice, pro-life, they would say that, sperm is a living thing, and technically it is. So I guess it would be a form of cannibalism.
I guess, yeah.
I guess you got a point, I mean, in some aspect, you are... it's just one of those weird. That's a weird idea to go that way. You're just one step away if you swallow a load or whatnot.
Well,
maybe that's what.
I'm a murderer.
You're
just one small step away, Jen. Watch out.
I think I've murdered more babies than you, because if we're going to look at it that way, I can't even tell you how many been flushed down the toilet or washed down the shower drain.
Exactly.
I was never a guy for a sock. I always liked toilet paper. I just, because I always thought if I jerk off into a sock and then it gets washed with the other clothes, doesn't that mean that my jizz is getting into the fibers of everybody else's cloths?
Right.
Probably, most likely, yeah. There's always something left over. I mean, your clothes aren't always 100% clean when it's sloshing around in dirty water and rinsed through more dirty water.
Well, that's what OxyClean's for. It gets all of those things. It's powerful,
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, we're all murderers and cannibals in some way.
Absolutely, because we got so the sperm itself, carries some nutritional value. And I think maybe you would know this, Jen, with your background. It contains 5 to 7 calories.
Oh.
Yeah, it does. There's fructose sugar in it, water, ascorbic acid, which is vitamin C, citric acid, enzymes, protein, phosphate, bicarbonate, buffers, zinc.
Buffers. Yeah. Yep, zinc.
There's a lot of good stuff in it. I mean, I would not lick my own sperm or eat it, but you know, I don't know.
If you had to survive on only sperm, how much of it would you have to drink in a day to sustain life?
Oh my God.
That's a good question. That's a good question. Now, is it your sperm or your buddy's sperm? And if it is your buddy's sperm, is that considered gay through, I guess, survivalism?
Well,
I don't know. I don't think that would require. I wouldn't say that qualifies as gay. I think that's like a completely thing of its own. Because gay is, you know, sexual interactions with someone of the same sex, right?
Sure.
Right.
Sure. Well,
so I mean, just drinking a vat of sperm doesn't necessarily mean you're gay.
Personally, I honestly think that it would be kind of like a useless thing to do, because I think you would be wasting the energy, burning the calories that you would get out of that load, trying to produce the load. So it would just be like a zero net gain. So you might as well just go try and find some food, do that type of hike where you might get some, you know, just gather ants up, you know.
Yeah.
Because it's just too much effort, especially if, like, let's say that you had to drink a quart of it a day. That's a lot of work. That's just a lot of work.
Like,
I have to say, this is actually going to sound kind of crazy, but
right.
Even just like for instance, I've done what's that movie called? 10 Man Come Slam. So basically, it's a DJ scene with 10 other guys, and
right.
and it all ends with you swallowing each guy. It's no facial or anything. It's swallowing. And I remember, I think that was probably my first time ever doing like a group slow bang thing, and and I remember, like, I think it was maybe 45 minutes after the scene, after swallowing all those guys, my stomach was gurgling. It was literally gurgling, like, you know, as if someone had like lactose intolerant. And then a few hours later, I shit my brains out.
Oh my God!
Oh my Jesus!
Yeah. I mean, like, it was a fast laxative, and then I think a few years later after that, I ended up doing. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of American Bukkake.
Yes.
And that scene was done with another girl, and a lot of the scenes was usually just one girl and a bunch of guys, but it was me and this other girl, and it had to have been like at least 60-something guys. Now, I'm sure a lot of it was all over us, but I mean, we were trying to swallow as much as we could and, you know, swap and all that stuff, but there was a lot of cum eating on that, and I had the same reaction. Like, all of a sudden, stomach started gurgling. Hours later, I'm shitting my brains out. And I was so fascinated by that, because I'm like, is this just me, or are other girls like that? And a lot of girls that I've asked, they say they have the same thing.
Maybe,
well,
yeah, it's cannibalism.
Yeah.
It's always that saying. It's that saying, you can always have too much of a good thing. You know, sometimes it's just too much ice cream for the bucket. You know what I mean? You can't just be chowing down on that all the time and not expect something.
It's true. We cannot be gluttons.
Was that one the one where they not the Bukkake one? And I'm going to ask you a question about another movie real quick here, because I have two questions about two different movies. But was it the one where they had the speculum in your mouth? Which was the one that you had the? Which was the one you had the speculum in your mouth and the dudes were shooting low? Because that one was pretty intense. I was like, what the fuck?
I can't remember. How does that sound familiar? I don't know. I can't remember.
Oh yeah. Well, that one was great. Now, I have, speaking of, and this is on the same thing. This is on the same level. I watched a bukkake video with you, but it was like a chick bukkake video where these girls were squirting on you.
Oh, the lesbian bukkake.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was fucking hot. First of all.
You like that?
Yes, it was awesome. I love that. It's great. I like that. So,
although
was
I don't
it the
think
same?
That's cannibalism.
That's not cannibalism because it's different, but they weren't okay. Guys think that when a girl squirts, it's not piss; it's a female ejaculation. How did they find all those chicks to fucking get squirters? Like, or did they? Because one of my friends was like, no, they just hold water in their pussy and they just squirt it out. You know what I mean, or something stupid like that. So,
casting
is there any?
Yeah. Okay. Well, see, I can answer that truthfully, but I don't want to be like a Debbie Downer. I don't want to ruin it for people.
Oh.
Okay.
You're not going to ruin it for me because I think there was some trickery going on. But
yeah. I mean, okay, so a lot of girls, a lot of those shoots, when we do those shoots, they provide a shit ton of beer. A shit ton of beer and a shit ton of bottled water, and they encourage the girls to just drink up for the next 2 hours.
No, I know where this is going. No.
So it's a combination of the girls peeing, a combination of girls taking a empty enema bottle and filling it with water and sticking it up their hoo-ha and then squirting it out. And there are a few girls that claim that they can squirt, but I mean, in my opinion, like, if a girl can squirt, it's not like gushes of water just constantly squirting out like you're urinating. To me, a real squirt is when a girl is extremely wet and, orgasm is intense and, a little bit of that soakiness kind of squirts out in an instant and that's it. But not massive gushing like that. But I could be wrong. I mean, I could totally be wrong. Maybe there are some very rare people out there that can do that. But from my experience, when I have worked with girls that say that they can genuinely squirt, I've caught them drinking tons of water, and then when, of course, it's spraying in my face, it has more of a water, but it kind of smells like urine. So,
well,
I mean,
I officially now want to say that I don't want to be the guy who wants to know how the magician does his tricks, because that just ruined a whole bunch of videos for me. I won't be able to see those ever again.
But, it doesn't mean that they don't compromise their orgasm, because, like, for us girls, when you have an orgasm, you usually have to pee immediately afterwards, like, and a lot of pee. And I know for me that, like, when I pee after I have sex or have an orgasm, my pee is very, very clear, and it almost kind of has like a sweet smell to it. So
I know when I pee during sex, it's like fucking trying to bleed a fucking turnip. My goddamn urethra is so swollen, I'm trying to piss and it's spraying out in every which direction. I remember being a teenager jerking off, and I'd be done jerking off, and I go pee, and I'm like, why is my pee coming out in two different directions? Like, just completely fucking thinking that I'm fucking deformed, that my shit's deformed. I have a quick question for you, Jen. Now that I have you on the line, and you can stay on if you want, or we can let you go. It's up to you. I watched because I just got so interested after we talked, and I caught your first, I guess you could say, anal DP virgins number 15, DP initiations. So that was truly your first anal.
Yeah, it was.
Oh my God!
Crazy.
Like I watched your scene, and you were like, I didn't know if you were in pain or if you were in ecstasy or because those dudes fucking tore you up. I'm sorry.
Wow.
Yeah, they let me actually pick a few people that I wanted to work with, and so at the time I picked two of the guys that I really liked working with, and
how does that process go? Just that they're nice, or that they got nice cocks? Which way does it go?
I think it's a combination of everything. I had worked quite a bit with both of them before, and you know, we were very familiar with how we work and you know, good on-camera chemistry and just, you know, a little bit of everything, and I felt most comfortable with them. And so, yeah, I picked gosh, what was it? It was Jay Ashley and Rick Masters, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, and that was actually a really fun shoot. I was so nervous, though. I think that was my first and only shoot that I literally deliberately showed up late because I was nervous. I even called the owner of the company before I left the door and said, Jeff, I don't think I could do this. I was so nervous that I was constipated, so I didn't even shit the day before, and I didn't shit that morning.
Wow.
And the ammo wasn't working. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to make a huge mess on set, and it really wasn't that bad, but it was crazy. But working with those guys, they made it really fun. Obviously, it was intense, but
sure,
yeah. And most girls, they use what do you call it, an anal plug. And they'll, like, sleep with it in the night before to kind of just, you know, train their electricity.
Oh.
Sure,
and
yeah.
So I was so, you know, young and naive, and I didn't really communicate with a lot of people in the business because I kind of kept business and personal life separate. So I didn't have anybody to guide me or go to. So I had no idea about anal plugs at that time. So I literally, like, without ever sticking a finger up my ass or doing anything, I just went and straight and did it. And when I told them, that I had never used an anal plug, they're like, oh my God, Jen, you're crazy. And I'm like, oh, yeah.
See, guys.
Jump in.
See, guys, this is the thing, and Jeremy's on the line with us as well, and I know Jeremy's into gangbangs or something like that, he said. I don't know. But, or he likes to watch his chick with other guys, whatever the case may be. But I know from personal experience, if you're going to stick it in your girl's ass, fellas, obviously make sure she's nice and clean. Go down there, eat her pussy, lick her booty for a while, right? Get her nice and hot. And when they say when they talk about the shocker, like when you're eating her pussy and fucking her with your fingers at the same time, literally, stick your pinky up there, get it dilated, get it hot, and then you'll be able to slip your stuff in there a little bit later. I think.
Wow.
From personal experience, right, Jen? I guess. Well, I'm not saying you and I've done it, but I'm just saying.
Oh.
Yeah, I think that would work in general. I think it's really a matter of preference as long as you have communication with the person that you're with. You know, just to make sure that, you know, you guys are on the same page.
Well, flesh eaters on the line with us fingering his asshole as we talk. But Jeremy, what did you say you had a bad experience with shit?
Only one time out of the 15 years that I've been, or longer, sexually active, it was a friend that I think that you and I know. I dated her some years back. We had a heavy weekend of partying. We were doing lots of the white powder substance, and we decided to have anal sex. And I think, you know, when you're doing that white powder substance at the time, you tend to take a crap a lot, and it just wasn't as clean as it normally was all the time. And I looked down, and I was like, oh, what the fuck is that? Are you serious? And that kind of really for me for about another 5 years, so I'm really not big into it. I've always thought the vagina is way better than the ass, and so I don't really mess around with it anymore.
Yeah. Well,
I've heard stories. I mean, obviously this was like about 10 years ago, but I would always hear stories about other performers, you know, doing coke on a regular basis when they knew they were doing a lot of anal scenes. And so, you know, obviously by the time they do their anal scenes and they don't eat, they're already cleaned out, don't have to use the enema as much, as long as they just kind of rinse out. And then I've also heard that if they put a little bit of the white stuff around their anus, it numbs it, and so it's easier to get started with their anal scene. I'm like, man, that is way too much time, work, and effort, and illegal stuff to be doing that.
No, that actually works. I was 14 years old, and a family friend of my dad's, like, she pretty much took advantage of me, and she attacked me in the living room, and I lasted a whole, 12 or 13 seconds. And when we were in the car, she was taking me to a Christian punk concert at the time, and she goes, next time you should try putting a little coke on top of your dick. And I was like, what? I was like, I'm 14 years old. I've never seen coke before, and you just raped me pretty much. Well, years later, when I was 21 or 22 or something, I tried putting coke on my dick. I fucked for 6 hours straight. I didn't feel nothing. I couldn't feel anything. It worked.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
one of my exactly. One of my first times while having sex, one of my buddies was like, "Hey, you need to jerk off 4 times before you fuck her because you don't want her to think you're a chump and you come real fast." So I said, "All right, I'll do that." And I took for fucking ever, to the point where she was just dry, hurting, and I just kept pumping, but it was just and then when I finally came, it was a couple of little drops, it was nowhere, I had already drained myself of my manhood earlier that day, so like an idiot, just don't do that out there, guys, by the way, if you want to impress a girl, just practice edging, what they call edging, if you're going to masturbate, and what that means is when you're getting ready to bust a nut or come, just kind of pull it back a little bit and don't do it, and then it'll teach you.
That's the best advice I've ever heard from a guy when it comes to that thing. I don't think I've ever heard anybody ever suggest that, and that sounds like it's the most brilliant fucking idea ever for guys to practice.
Wow.
Well, thank you, Jen. I appreciate that. I've been doing that since I was 13.
Yeah. Now he's like Sting. He just goes for hours, but no long. This time when it gets a little dry, he just gets that Clear Eyes stuff and just sprays it in the twat because Clear Eyes is awesome.
Clear Eyes?
No, whatever, Sean. I just spit on it. I'm sorry. I just spit on it. That's all I do. I just that's all you can do. Is just. Yeah. That's it. It's the best lube ever. It's just spit. That's all you can do. Right, Will? Yeah. You're on the phone, Will? Is that...
Yeah. I think he's had a heart attack.
No. You muted me. You muted me.
We did. Well, we did mute you because there was about 3 of you guys on the phone, and there was a lot of noise in the background, and I couldn't hear Jen, so I had to mute you guys. I'm sorry. Yeah. Just for show purposes. But I think Will
just taking care of the woman. Good man.
Oh, yes. Thanks. I appreciate that. That's just how I roll, man. I'm a fucking Scorpio. What do you want me to say?
Yeah.
I'm gonna put you on hold. Well, thank you. But that's just what you're supposed to do to kind of train yourself. And that's actually, honestly, one of my tattoo artists taught me that when I was younger. He's like, dude, just hold it back. Just when you're jerking it, just when you're about to come and you feel it coming up, just let it calm down and you can control it. And I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. So it helps definitely. So all right. So Jen, we're gonna let you go. Well, go ahead, Jen. I'm sorry.
I was just going to go back to the whole cannibalism thing. I think you guys should do an actual poll somehow. I think it would be really interesting to see what people would select. Would they find that as a form of cannibalism, or is that actually cannibalism? I think it would be a cool poll to do.
You got a point.
You got a point. So is eating sperm cannibalism? Huh. Okay, we're going to do a poll.
It's the beginning part of life, so I mean, it's I don't know.
My wife will not swallow my sperm, by the way, out there, because for the mere fact that she just says it's disgusting, and I will not go down on her after I do the deed inside of her because I just don't want to taste myself either.
Well,
it feels gay.
So you've never been curious?
No. Can I, Sean? And I don't know if I told you, and Jen, I'm going to tell you guys my perspective on homosexuality. Okay.
Oh well, yes, Professor Aaron. What exactly is that?
Here's my perspective on homosexuality, because I have 2 very homophobic brother-in-laws who think being gay is disgusting and blah 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 blah. Right. So this is what I tell them. Look, every guy has thought about what it's going to be like to be with another man. Have I thought about what it would be like to have another man's mouth on my penis? Yes, I've thought about it. Absolutely. Have I thought about what it would be like to have my balls slapping against another man's balls? I have thought about it. Absolutely. I'm not going to lie. But I've also thought about what would it be like to have my legs blown off with a landmine, right?
Yeah.
None of these things sound pleasant to me. None of these things are appealing to me. I have thought about what if my arm gets cut off by a chainsaw. Yes, I have thought about these things, and it does not appeal to me. Therefore, if you want to do that, that's cool. So if you want to go step on a landmine and blow your legs off, fine, go for it. If you want to cut your arm off with a chainsaw, go for it. If you want to have sex with another man, go for it. It just does not appeal to me, and I'm not offended by it. So that's my perspective on homosexuality.
I think on this day of silence, the LGBT community would be very angry at you by comparing homosexual activity akin to chainsawing your arm off or stepping on a landmine, sir.
They probably read too far into it and think, well, what do you mean? Are you saying this is bad as going out and walking over a landmine?
No,
just because two men want to love each other, that doesn't mean that they're blowing their fucking heads off with shotguns.
It just doesn't sound like a pleasurable experience to me. And no, I don't. I'm not curious about tasting my own sperm, because it just, to me, seems just a little gay. And my wife's like, come on, just let me strap one on so you can see how it feels. I'm like, no, it's not happening. It just does not. And not for the fact that it would just be one more sexual thing to do with her. It's the fact that I think it would hurt really bad and just not be very comfortable.
But you know what's really weird is, you know how, like, when you watch masturbation scenes of girls, and they're, sticking their fingers down in there and then back in their mouth and back and forth and da-da-da-da-da. And that's kind of like the same thing as if a guy were to taste his cum. But it's less taboo and less quote unquote gay, and all of that, which is really, really funny, but there really is no difference. I mean, I guess, the difference is, we go back to cannibalism. If a girl were to eat her cum, that's not cannibalism because that's not human life, but it would be for a guy.
Well, maybe if she ate her period blood.
Well, and where's the bell? Where's the bell? Ding, ding. I think we have touched on every single bodily function that can happen to human beings on this episode. I'm trying to think of anything else that we've not hit yet. I think with that one, bam, you did it. Boom.
Well, I've tasted period blood myself. I'm gonna do a quick poll with the three gentlemen we got on the phones, and then I'm gonna drop them off here. Jeremy, have you attempted, whether it be accidentally or on purposely, tasted your own jizz?
Yes, it's happened. I actually shot back at me one time from a girl jerking me off, and it was dark and it splattered on my face, and I was like, God damn it! But yeah, it happened.
Okay, cool. All right, Jeremy, we're dropping you off the line, buddy.
All right, man.
All right. So we're going to go to Flesh Eater now. We're going to ask Flesh Eater this question. Flesh Eater, whether it be on purpose, whether it be on accident, have you ever tasted your own jizz?
Oh, boy. And the embarrassing story comes out. Yes, I have.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I was at a house party once, and I had to go to the bathroom, but for some reason I peed in a beer bottle, and I was so drunk that I forgot. 20 minutes later, I drank out of the same bottle, and I was like, what the hell? And then I just remembered, shit.
No, we're not talking about your piss.
Wait.
We're talking about your jism.
Yeah, not peeing. You do realize that's two things, right?
Oh, well, no, the jism part.
Watch this and go back home all the time.
Wow.
All right, Flesh Eater, we're getting you off the line there. Good night. Hey, Flesh Eater, real quick. Next week, we promise you, hopefully, I think we're going to have Josh Neiman on, but we are going to get to our Contra remake, okay? Our Contra remake,
the Contra remake. All right. Okay, cool.
All right, buddy. We'll talk to you soon. All right, so we're going to get to our last guy, our resident Navajo Native American, Will. Will, have you eaten your own jism in some sort of weird way, whether it be a Native American spiritual rite or by accident or on purpose?
No.
All right.
No answer is the wrong answer. That's it. Everybody loses tonight, as far as I'm concerned.
That's because you make your own constantly, regardless of whether you're with a woman or not.
Hey, I'm on a diet, man. I got to do what I got to do. You do what you do. I do what I do. You know what I mean?
Protein shake is the best way to lose weight.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh. All right, Will. We're dropping you off the line. Good night, buddy.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for hanging with us.
Appreciate it, man.
Thanks, young man.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now it's me and Sean and Jen. I think it's Jeremy. Jeremy, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still listening because I'm just working right now, so I'm just listening to it.
Oh, all right.
Okay. All right. Cool. So I'm gonna put you on hold there. So Jen, thank you for calling in. You heeded the call. Like I messaged you and you're like fucking called right away. Thank you so much for that. You made our show so much better. You brought some sunshine to our show, some honesty, and some hilarity. And I really hope you enjoyed last week. I know we did talk about it, and you said you did enjoy it. So.
Yes, definitely. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask that question on Facebook and see what everybody says.
Please. Yeah. And can you do me a favor? Can you tag me in it? And maybe I don't know if you're friends with Sean yet on Facebook.
Just tag our show. I forget me. I don't need followers. The show. I wouldn't mind the show. You know.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, and I have to ask both of you because I tagged you both in it, and I tagged Jeremy into it as well. Right. That Steel Panther song, "Glory Hole."
Love it.
Did you guys watch the video?
It's a funny video, man. It's a funny video.
Yeah, I just with the jizz getting sprayed all over the place, it was really funny.
It's kind of what I was thinking of with all this talk tonight. I'm just picturing like that clown who got that. It looked like milkshakes were being dumped on his head, you know, towards the end there. Oof.
Well, those guys are really good. They also have one of my favorite songs in their album is called "Gang Bang at the Old Folks Home." That's a really good one too. So you guys got to listen to that. So Jen, we're gonna drop you off. Thank you so much for calling in. If we need you again for any weird sex cannibalism talk, we'll hit you up because we know we can always get an honest answer out of you.
Yes.
Sounds good. You guys have an awesome weekend.
You
all right,
too, Jen.
Be safe. Take care. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.
All right, man. Jeez. That
seems like the show fucking, just like how it always is. We've got things set up, and they just fucking derail. They just go all over the place. But I love it, man. It's what's great about the show. Just love it.
We
didn't. Go ahead, dude.
We didn't really intend on it going that direction.
No, not at all.
You know,
no.
We were just like, I was like, you know what? Jen was so kind and so awesome, and you could follow her at what's her Twitter, G Padova.
G Padova at Twitter.
Yeah, at Twitter. Yeah, go like her on Instagram. Search her for her Tumblr, all that. Anyways, I feel like we started the show. We knew where we were going. We always have a direction, and you and I really wanted to talk about. We've been wanting to talk about this cannibal thing for a while.
Exactly.
And Jen had lent her services to us, so to speak, if we had any weird sex questions. And I'm like thinking to myself, okay, well, you know, is jism, is sperm, you know? And I said, I got to try to get her on and talk about it. And as always, she's fucking radio gold, man. She is awesome. She's the best. So
She is the best. It totally went totally different. We were just going for weird fucking stories. And like I said, you hit every gamma. We are I think we hit every bodily function known to man tonight, including a story from Flesh Eater that apparently he doesn't know the difference between wee and what comes out of a man when he's aroused. That's the thing I pulled out today from the rest of this episode. Good Lord.
So, with that being said, we're going to actually go out with a song for Flesh Eater called River of Gold.
Yes.
Get it?
Yes.
So this is for you, Flesh Eater.
Here, I'll give a plug real quick. Twitter, just follow us on Twitter, at AV and Sean Show, or Facebook. I fixed it up a little bit. Facebook, AndroidVirus Sean Show on Facebook, AV and Sean Show on Twitter, AndroidVirus on Twitter and Instagram, Facebook. Just like us. We're out of time.
Like us, follow us, love us, worship us.
Warrior.
Thank you so much for calling in, Jeremy, Will, Flesh Eater, Jen,
everybody.
Sean's sister. I think.
Yeah, hey, Mary and all those guys over there at that place that I can't name. Good night, fellas.
Good night, fellas. I hope you get a good whacking to Gen Padova.